People have been asking for weeks if I was going to do a video on Eiyuden Chronicle. Obviously, the answer is yes. I was just waiting for the end of the campaign rather than doing it at the start. By this time, I'm sure most of you know about Eiyuden Chronicle, but I'm still going to recap very quickly for those who are not aware of what it is. Last year, I did a couple of retrospectives on the Suikoden series, Suikoden 1 and 2, and there were a lot of people who have come to the channel, subscribed because of those videos, so I know there are some Suikoden fans out there. Suikoden was created by Yoshitaka Moriyama, who left Konami about a week or so, I think, before the release of Suikoden 3, so he has not been involved in the Suikoden series for a very, very long time. However, he has his own studio now, and they've just kickstarted a new game called Eiyuden Chronicle, which is a spiritual successor to Suikoden. Many of you have seen the screenshots, the little video clips and things like that, kind of showcasing what the battle system might look like, what exploration might look like. I'm playing some of those things on the screen right now, and in all the ways that count, this seems to be a callback to a classical age of JRPGs, to the golden age, during the Super Nintendo and PlayStation 1 era. And for me, this is exactly the type of design philosophy that I would love to see have a resurgence in the modern age, especially with how expensive video game production is becoming, how everything has been moving more towards a fully 3D open world type of format. I think all of that's great. I'm not saying I don't want that stuff to exist at all. I'm just saying I would love to see more games made in this kind of classical style as well. And there are very few people who I think are better fit to return to this kind of style of game. There's a lot that has been said about Eiyuden Chronicle. There's a lot that can be said about it. However, I think what has spoke to me the most of anything is this little section that they have on the Kickstarter page that describes what they're going for, kind of what is the center of their vision for Eiyuden Chronicle. And this, like I said, above everything else, is what gets me really excited about the project. It's under this section called Celebrating the JRPG. And it says, "This is our chance to bring fans back to the days of the classic JRPG. As someone once said, true classics never die, and we want to recapture that era in every way possible, while taking advantage of modern technology to perfect the art form. The JRPG genre holds a near and dear spot in a lot of gamers' hearts, whether it's the amazing games from Square Enix, or the other amazing titles that made the genre what it is today. Most people have great memories of playing RPGs. During this campaign, we want to celebrate the JRPG's place in the annals of gaming history." That just speaks to me personally. It really does. I've been talking about this on my podcast and in videos. There was something about the way these games were made in this time. There was just something special about it that has been lost a little bit. That's not to say that there haven't been great RPGs since then. There have been. There's been really great, all-time great RPGs since then. But there was something about this era in particular that was just really special. And the thought that they have kind of at the center of their goal to recapture that, to bring that back, is very, very exciting for me. They have a beautiful pixel art style that they're using here, kind of mixed with 3D environments. This is a little bit reminiscent maybe of, say, Octopath Traveler, but I like the look of this a lot better than that game. And that game was gorgeous. That game looked amazing. I was really a big fan of what they did with Octopath Traveler. But this, to me, looks even better. And again, the pixel art just speaks to me as a gamer who grew up throughout the 90s playing games. It just looks so cool. It looks really, really great. Here, it's saying that there's going to be over 100 characters to recruit, just like in those Suikoden games. It might be surprising to some of you that we intend to have a roster of over 100 unique characters. However, it is our intention to create a massive world teeming with unique stories and adventure around every corner, where every new member in your army has a unique face, name, and past. In our world, heroes come from all walks of life and can be any gender, color, creed, or race. The world of Eiyuden Chronicle is no different. With a cast of hundreds for players to meet and recruit, we have an opportunity to create an exciting, diverse cast of characters, each one bringing their unique perspective and opinion to the group. We can't wait for all of you to meet these incredible characters and recruit them to your army. So that should give you a taste of what they're going for with the game. But of course, I'm going to provide a link in the description so that you can go to the Kickstarter page and read up on it for yourself and decide whether or not this is something that you would like to support, something that you're interested in, something that excites you. It is something that really excites me. I know that a lot of people who follow the channel feel the same way that I do about those classic kind of golden era JRPGs, and the fact that the person who created Suikoden, who spearheaded those first 3 titles, but in particular those first 2, which were really special to a lot of us who grew up during that time. This is something you're going to want to look at. This is something that looks very exciting. It's stylish, and it has all of the, I guess, the perks of sort of modern technology, but really captures, at least from what we can see so far, the essence of what made those games so great back in the day. So go and check out the link. Go click on the link, read up on it. They've got character bios. They've got all kinds of information. They've got so many different reward tiers. A quirky one that I found really funny is that at one of the tier levels, you can actually have your cat put into the game. They have this thing where they're creating all these different cats for the game, and if you wanted to do that, you could have your own pet, your personal pet cat, inserted into Eiyuden Chronicle. I don't know, they just thought of all these creative tiers, and I don't know, it's great. It gives you a sense of the personalities of the people making the game. It looks like a really fun project from very creative people, people who are passionate, people who want to tell a great story and create a wonderful world, and it just has this really amazing feel to it. So that's all that I'll say for that right now. But the campaign is only going for the next couple of days, so we're coming to the end of it. And as of right now, Eiyuden Chronicle is the 6th most funded video game on the entire Kickstarter platform. That's already an amazing feat, right? It's already freaking crazy that a JRPG has found that much funding on Kickstarter. But I think that it can get all the way up to $4 million. Right now, it's sitting at about $3.6 million in terms of funds that it has raised. And I think that in the last couple of days here, it could get up to $4 million, which would put it in the top 5 of the most funded video game projects on Kickstarter. And to me, that would be super cool to see a JRPG make it into the top 5. It's already hit a ton of stretch goals too. A ton of stretch goals. Let's go over a couple of these right now that it has hit so far. So the original goal was 500,000. So it just blew that completely out of the water almost in the first day. It just like totally freaking eclipsed that and went way, way beyond. So at the 1 million mark, they unlocked consoles. So this will be coming to consoles. I think for now, they're not planning on doing a Switch port. They're talking about the next generation of consoles for now. So PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. I'm sure that depending on what Nintendo is going to do in the next couple of years, I've heard rumors about a new piece of Switch hardware. We'll see what they're doing, but I'm sure that they're open to bringing it to a Nintendo console as well, if they can. But they've got all kinds of mini games that they've unlocked, a new game plus they've unlocked, all kinds of great stuff. New characters, localizations for different areas of the world. They got a full orchestral soundtrack that they're going to do. By the way, I should probably talk about that. They've got a couple of great composers for this. Let me get to that in a second. All kinds of awesome stuff. But let's talk about the ones that we have left to unlock. Okay, so we're done with the duel system, right? The duel system from Suikoden where you got the one-on-one fights. They're going to have that in the game. That's going to be awesome. They got a card game, it looks like. A card battle mode, some kind of card game that they've unlocked. But let's see here. What would be really great is if we can get to this 4 million mark again. I think that would be really awesome to hit that mark. They're going to have an origin story, a backstory novel. And as somebody who is an aspiring writer and novelist, I'd be very interested in seeing that happen and seeing them, produce a novel that would give some backstory to the world. So anyways, I think we can hit that 4 million. So I'm trying to do my part here to rally people to get there, because I think that would be a cool thing to see. All right, so let's talk about the composers real quick, and then I'll just kind of wrap up here. Okay, so music is an important aspect of JRPGs. This is why, in addition to internal composers, we're also working with incredibly talented veteran composers. First, they list Motoi Sakuraba, who has worked on the Tales of series, Shining Force 3, Golden Sun, and Baten Kaitos. Awesome composer, veteran composer. And then here's the big one for a lot of people, Michiko Naruke, who did Wild Arms 1 through 4, so the Wild Arms series composer. And they're also looking at maybe getting Procyon Studio, in particular Miriam Aboundizer? I have no idea how to pronounce that. I'm sure I butchered it, and I'm sorry about that. But Procyon Studios, for those who don't know, that's the studio founded by Yasunori Mitsuda, Chrono Trigger composer, Xenogears composer, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 recently. Phenomenal composer who started at Square, obviously. Procyon is his studio, so that would be cool to see. Anyways, I don't want to drag this out too long. I'm sure most of you are aware of this already, but for those of you who have not had a chance to fund this yet, we're coming down to the wire. There's just a couple of days left. So if this is something you want to see, I mean, obviously the game has already been funded, right? But I think getting it into that top 5 most funded video games on Kickstarter would be a really cool thing to see. That's partly why I'm backing it. I'm also backing it because the game looks great, but also Mr. Moriyama was very gracious to me in terms of answering my questions when I reached out to him for my Suikoden 2 review. For those of you who don't know, my retrospective on Suikoden 2, I was doing some research about sort of the origins of the story, where he came up with it. There were a lot of rumors about it that had been perpetuated for a long time and that were even printed in like mainstream magazines. This was a well-founded rumor that was pretty much believed by everybody in terms of when he came up with the concept for Suikoden 2 and how. And it seemed a little fishy to me. It didn't seem right. So I reached out to him by email, and he was very, very gracious in answering my questions. He watched my videos. He's just a great guy, and he's someone who I really want to see succeed as much as possible. He's the type of creator that I look up to, and that I'm really inspired by. And so I love him. I love what he's doing, and I want to see him be as successful as possible. And so for me, that's why I'm backing him, and why I'm trying to do my best to spread the word. So let's do it. Let's get the game funded at 4 million if possible. Thank you guys for watching. I will be back again real soon with an update on my Final Fantasy retrospective series. Until then, have a great week. See you soon.